Hi there, welcome to part 3 of my look at my Doctor Who Steelbook collections. We've already done the Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat era Blu-ray Steelbooks. Now we get to the Chris Chibnall era. Now, I've actually already done closer looks of both Series 13 and the Series 13 specials, or the 2022 specials. I'll link both of those in the description below. So today we're going to be looking at these, Series 11 and Series 12. So let's get into it. Okay, so first up we have Series 11. This, of course, is Jodie Whittaker's first series. Actually, my favourite of Jodie's series on the show. I know that's not a very popular opinion. A lot of people seem to prefer Series 12, but I've always liked Series 11 slightly more. So, one thing I'm not a big fan of, though, is the fact that this Steelbook doesn't have any new artwork. Basically, all the other Steelbooks in this range contain specially commissioned artwork for the Steelbook, whereas this version just has, as you can see, this promo shot of the Doctor with the TARDIS in the background and the companions on the back. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like the art. I think it's nice artwork, but of course, this is just a promo shot. This was kind of everywhere at the time, and I would have liked some original artwork, you know, specially commissioned stuff, like we got for basically all the rest of the Steelbooks. I think that would have been nice. But it is still pretty nice artwork anyway. There's, of course, the silhouettes of the companions on the back, and there's the spine. The other thing I'm not the biggest fan of is that all the discs have the same disc art. There's no alternative disc art, which is something we saw in the Series 10 Steelbook, and that's something that continues through both Series 12 and Series 13 as well. So, not a big fan of that, but let's have a look underneath the let's have a look underneath the discs. So on this side, as you can see, we've got Ryan and Graham, and on the other side, we've got Yaz and the Doctor. So if I can somehow manage to show you that, yeah, with the without the disc tray kind of flopping about. Yeah, there they are, the fam. So let's pop all the discs back in. So the main thing that I really like about this release, and this is not just something that's exclusive to the Steelbook, is it also has these art cards with it. The entire Jodie Whittaker range, or at least the 3 series, all have art cards with them, which are really, really nice. There we have the 13th Doctor on the first one. I always really liked Jodie in the role. I don't think the writing was always the strongest. I think a lot of the time, actually, the writing did let her down. But Jodie was always really, really fun to watch. I really liked her in the part. Then the next art card, we've got Ryan, and there's the Doctor in the background. We've got Graham. Graham was a nice surprise, wasn't he? I was dreading the fact that Bradley Walsh was going to be in the show because when he was first announced, because I thought he was just going to be, you know, comic relief and nothing else. But they gave him a really, really interesting character, and his relationship with Ryan was really good. So, yeah, big fan of Graham overall. And then finally we've got Yaz. There she is, Yaz, and again the Doctor in the background. So, yeah, lovely art cards. So let's have a look what you get on each disc, what episodes and bonus features. So, on disc 1 you get The Woman Who Fell to Earth, which I thought was a really good, solid debut. I really like that story. The Ghost Monument, not quite so good, but still a fun one. And Rosa, which I think is just a really, really great historical episode. The historical episodes from Jodie's era, I think, were really, really strong just throughout her run. I really like the historicals. They're some of my favourite 13th Doctor adventures, and Rosa's a really good one. You also get audio commentaries on episodes 1 and 3, and closer looks of all 3 episodes. On disc 2, there's Arachnids in the UK, which wasn't a great one. I wasn't the biggest fan of that one. It's got its moments, but not great overall. Probably one of the weakest episodes of this series. The Saranga Conundrum, which is kind of... I don't really like the Pating as a monster, but the episode itself is kind of too weird to hate. I sort of like just how nuts it is. So yeah, not the biggest fan of that one, but it's not dreadful either, I don't think. And you've got Demons of the Punjab, which is my absolute favourite 13th Doctor story. I love Demons of the Punjab. I think it's a really, really great piece of work. And you get audio commentaries on discs on Saranga Conundrum and Demons of the Punjab, and again closer looks on all 3 episodes. On disc 3 you get Kablam, which is alright, isn't it? It's not a great episode or anything, but I enjoy it. It's a bit of fun. The Witchfinders, which I think is really, really underrated. I love The Witchfinders. The Witchfinders is such an easy one to watch. I rewatched that one a hell of a lot, actually. And It Takes You Away. I kind of love how weird It Takes You Away is. Much like with Saranga Conundrum, I think It Takes You Away is just really weird. Although I will say, I think I think It Takes You Away is a much, much better episode. Like it's so much better. But yeah, again, I just kind of love how odd it is. And you get closer looks of all 3 of those episodes. And then on disc 4 you get episode 10, the Battle of Ranskor Av Kolos. Probably my least favourite episode of the series overall. Not a big fan of that one. I know in interviews Chris Chibnall has said that one was basically a first draft script because they didn't have any time to, write a second draft. And yeah, you can tell it's a first draft. You can really absolutely tell it's not a great finale. I actually treat Resolution as the Series 11 finale rather than Battle of Ranskor Av Kolos. But you get a bunch of bonus features on this disc as well because there's only 1 episode. So you have a closer look of episode 10, as well as Becoming the Doctor, Friends of the Doctor, Regenerating Doctor Who, Directing Doctor Who, Video Diaries, Bradley on a Train, Video Diaries, Mandip's South African Diary, Everything You Need to Know About the New TARDIS, Making the Theme Tune, and Best of Social. So a pretty packed set. All those bonus features are the same on the standard Blu-ray and I think the standard DVD edition as well. So you are just paying for the Steelbook art. Again, it is nice artwork, but I would have preferred it if it had original commissioned artwork, much like the rest of the Steelbook range. But it's not terrible. It's all right. And now we have Series 12, and already the artwork is a massive improvement. Look at this cover. This is a wonderful cover. You got a nice orange background there. You got Jodie there, and the Master. I love Sacha Dhawan as the Master, man. He was so good. He was so good in this series, just throughout his run. He wasn't always in the best stories, but he was always great. Again, much like Jodie, I think, sometimes the writing let him down, but he was always spectacular in the series. I really, really like his version of the Master. We'll take the J card off and show you the back in a bit more detail. There it is. We got the companions again, continuing the theme from the Series 11 set, actually putting the companions on the back, which is also a thing they do in the series 13 and specials Steelbook. But yeah, lovely artwork. I don't actually know who did the artwork for this one. It doesn't say on the J card, which it normally says. I don't know who did the artwork, unfortunately. If anybody knows, do let me know in the comments. But it is lovely, lovely artwork. There's the spine. Something that's not quite so lovely is we've got stacked discs. Again, no alternative disc art, which is a shame. But yeah, stacked discs, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but it is what it is. Blu-rays, on the plus side, are a lot harder to scratch than DVDs. So I'd have been really mad if this was a DVD set, but because it's Blu-ray, it's not quite so bad. But again, I would have preferred it if it had a disc tray. But that's a nitpick, really. Look at this artwork inside. That's really nice. Really like that. We've got Jodie and the fam there. Really, really cool. I actually like this internal artwork more than the Series 11 one. I think it's really, really nice. Love the white background. Well, love that it's kind of a very minimalist background. That's pretty awesome. Anyway, let's put the discs back in, and we'll go through the art cards and the bonus features, and the episodes, obviously. Okay, so once again, we get some art cards. We're continuing the sort of minimalist background and the kind of space theme on the art cards, which is awesome. Again, we've got Jodie. We've got the 13th Doctor on this first one here. Really nice picture. These are nice, good quality, glossy art cards as well, which is really good. Then we've got Ryan there. The backs are all the same of the art cards. The backs are all the same. Anyway, here's Graham. And finally we have Yaz. Nice. So let's go through the episodes and the bonus features on this one. I'm not going to show you the discs this time. Again, all the artwork is the same on all the discs, so there's not really much point. We'll just put the Steelbook here so you can have a nice look at it. In fact, we'll surround it with the art cards. Seems like a good idea. And then Jodie there. Excellent. One thing I will say about this series, actually, is I kind of wish that Ryan and Graham had exited in Resolution. I think, you know, if you'd had Series 12 be just the Doctor and Yaz, that would have... I think that would have been more interesting. I think that would have been quite kind of cool, you know, because really it felt like Graham and Ryan's arcs wrapped up in Series 11. It felt like Graham's story arc wrapped up in It Takes You Away, and then, you know, had that final bit of closure in Battle of Ranskorav Kolos as well. And then it felt like Ryan's arc sort of wrapped up with Resolution, so that would have been a perfect time for those two to leave. I just felt like they kind of were just sort of there in a lot of Series 12. They didn't really have as much to do, like, whereas I think if they'd got rid of them and if they'd left in Resolution, you could have had a series of just kind of Yaz and the Doctor and their sort of relationship developing, and then bring in Dan for Series 13. I think that would have been a bit better. That I would have preferred to have seen that. I think that could have been quite interesting. But this is what we got, and, you know, it's fine. Anyway, on disc 1 you get Resolution, so Resolution gets a disc all to itself, which is good. I really liked Resolution. You know, for the first 13th Doctor story, I knew the first 13th Doctor story where she fought a returning villain would be a Dalek story, but it was a really interesting take on the Daleks. I really, really liked it. I thought it was good. I liked Resolution a lot. You also get bonus features. You get a look back, closer looks, behind the scenes, and a Dalek reformed. Then on disc 2, you get both parts of Spyfall. Spyfall was an interesting start. Again, we had the debut of Sacha Dhawan's Master, and he was really, really great. The episodes overall, I think the first part was really, really good. Like, the first part was excellent. The setup episode was spectacular. Really, really excellent first part. Second part, it kind of all fell apart. It still had some good moments. I still sort of enjoyed Spyfall for the most part. It's got some fun bits to it, but yeah, it wasn't as good as part 1. You know, part 1 kind of set the bar really high, and I don't think part 2 quite cleared it, unfortunately. But special features, you got a closer look, audio commentary on both parts, and a Series 12 preview. Seems a bit strange putting a Series 12 preview on the Series 12 set, once you've already seen Series 12, but whatever. Disc 3, you've got Orphan 55, which is a really not a good episode. I really did not like that one at all. Yeah, I don't think anyone really was a massive fan of Orphan 55. It was kind of a bit all over the place story-wise, and that old woman who kept shouting Benny, yeah, she got on my nerves very quickly. All of the supporting characters got on my nerves, actually, in that. It was only really the Doctor and the fam that I thought were interesting or, you know, not annoying as characters. Then you get Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, which was a great episode. Again, the historicals of this era, I think, are fantastic. That was a really good one. Quite underrated, I find. I don't find many people talking about that one, but I really, really like it. It's one I've rewatched a few times now. Fugitive of the Jadoon. And Fugitive of the Jadoon, that's the last episode you get on Disc 3. I liked Fugitive of the Jadoon. It is basically just a setup episode to, you know, the 2-part finale. So if you're not the biggest fan of the 2-part finale, I think it does kind of make Fugitive of the Jadoon weaker. That being said, I love the Fugitive Doctor. I think she's great. I think actually she and Jodie Joe Martin and Jodie Whittaker had really good chemistry in that episode. So yeah, I sort of enjoyed it. It was quite fun. But it is basically, you know, a setup episode, isn't it, really? Bonus features, you have closer looks and an audio commentary on Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. On Disc 4, you've got Praxeus, which I think is an episode that is a little bit overhated. Like, I don't think it's a great episode by any means. I think it has some really interesting ideas, but the execution's not always there. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people seem to think it is, but it's also not really one of my favourites. Can You Hear Me? I don't care what you say. I think Can You Hear Me is a great episode. I really, really like that one. I know there's the scene with the Doctor and Graham at the end that, you know, kind of rubbed some people up the wrong way, and that wasn't a great scene. I wasn't the biggest fan of that scene, but overall, I think the episode's got a lot of bits in it that I really liked overall, and I kind of like the themes of that episode. So yeah, I don't hate that one. And then you've also got The Haunting of Villa Diodati, which is probably my favourite episode of Series 12. You had the debut of Ashad, the Lone Cyberman. He was great. The whole stuff with Lord Byron and Mary Shelley, that was really, really fun. Again, it's a great little historical. I just really love that episode. I love kind of literature from that time period anyway, you know, Mary Shelley and Lord Byron, stuff like that. Frankenstein is one of my favourite stories just ever of all time, so I was always going to really like a Mary Shelley episode, and yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I really, really love Haunting of Villa Diodati. Also, Ashad's design is great, isn't it? I love that he's kind of half converted and he's in like a broken Cyberman suit. That's really awesome. I thought he was such a great villain. Wonderful. I can't remember the actor's name right now. I'm going to look it up and put it in the video somewhere. I'll put it on the screen somewhere, but I really liked him. He was fantastic. I'm glad they brought him back for Power of the Doctor, actually. And then disc 5, you've got Ascension of the Cybermen and Timeless Children. Again, like with Spyfall, sorry. Again, like with Spyfall, I think it had a really, really good setup episode. I think Ascension of the Cybermen is actually really good as a setup. But then the Master comes in at the end, and yeah, the Timeless Child, it kind of all falls apart, doesn't it? I mean, regardless of what you think of the actual Timeless Child reveal, I really hate the execution of it. I really don't like that it's basically just exposition. It's just the Master explaining the entire thing to the Doctor. I'm like, couldn't you like find a clever way of showing this? You know, do like flashbacks, or I know they do sort of do memories, but it's mostly, you know, it's mostly the Master telling the Doctor, and I just feel like that's a bit of an underwhelming way to do it. And also, I'm not the biggest fan of the twist, but, you know, that requires its own video, I think, the twist, because I have very mixed feelings on the Timeless Child as a plot line. I have very mixed feelings on it. I might have to do a video at that at some point, but I don't know when, or even if that'll happen. But anyway, bonus features, you get closer looks. So you don't really get that many bonus features on this one, mostly just sort of closer looks and a couple of audio commentaries. Yeah, but still pretty good. It's a mixed series, this. It's not anywhere near my favourite. It's probably my least favourite of Jodie's 3 series, but there's still some good moments. There's still some good episodes, particularly Haunting of Villa Diodati, Can You Hear Me, and Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. I think those 3 are all great. And Resolution, of course, even though I think that's more kind of a Series 11. I think of that more as being closer to Series 11 than Series 12, but you know, those I think would be the best episodes that are on this particular set. So there we are, the Series 11 and Series 12 Steelbooks. Let me know if you want to see my classic Doctor Who Steelbook collection. I might get around to doing those at some point. I've pretty much all of those that have been released. So yeah, maybe I'll do a video on those at some point. Let me know if you'd like to see that. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.